Welcome to Intuitive Astrology with Molly McCord. Thank you so much for joining me today. Welcome to the new year. And today we're going to discuss the Venus star point, which will be exact on January 6th at 16 degrees of Capricorn. There are some important considerations to be aware of with this particular Venus star point, which we'll get into, but I feel it has a very strong grounding presence for us as we begin the new calendar year. Now, it's always interesting that the calendar year begins in Capricorn, which is also where you're meant to notice your achievements, what you have endured and been through that has shaped and formed your life. Capricorn is the energy of understanding what matters to you now so that you can put time, energy, and resources into those values going forward. So as we begin January with this Venus star point, the energy is bringing us into the heart of what we want to create because it's really meaningful. This is a practical grounding influence. It's also quite quiet, restorative, calm. This is meant to be a time period of assessing at a deeper level of your being what matters to you without feeling the pressure to move ahead or take off and make it real right away. Capricorn energy slows us down, brings us into the reality of the energies we're existing within as we take inventory and take stock of what we want to create and manifest because it really matters. Not because there's outside pressure, not because it's a new year even, but this is thoughtful consideration around what your life values are and how you can strengthen your soul purpose, soul mission, what you're here to do in the world internally, and allow that to give you the determination and fortitude to move ahead. Capricorn is where we're able to be stronger within ourselves amongst all the chaos, changes, and uncertainties in the world. And so I feel that this particular Venus star point energy is inviting you to stop, listen, and turn inward for the solid answers that you need right now. Now, the Venus star point is when Venus is conjunct the sun. And this happens through two different experiences. One is when Venus is retrograde, and the second is when she's direct. Venus is direct right now, conjunct the sun, creating what's called a full Venus, similar to a full moon. And so she is direct, and as she makes the conjunction across the sun, she disappears for 10 days because she can't be seen amongst the strong, powerful light of the sun's solar rays. So she disappears from view. And this is part of the internalization journey of the full Venus, where she is full of creative abilities, manifestations, a new sense of love for herself, her abilities, her energy. She is also being filled with the consciousness of the sun in Capricorn. And this could feel that you're recognizing more of your own authority, discipline, boundaries. You're understanding more of what matters to you, where you want to put your talents and your creative energy, as well as seeing what you are ready to cut off or move away from because it no longer satisfies you or is in alignment with where you're going next. So ultimately, there is some type of cocooning journey that happens with this full Venus point as she is understanding more of what really matters to her right now on her own terms. So if you're not being pulled in multiple directions at once, if you're not responding or engaging with everything going on in the world, if you were to tune in and align your consciousness with what is truly happening within you, What do you hear? What do you sense that actually gives you life, gives you a sense of purpose and direction, fortifies you with the new creative understandings, maybe also just solidifies what matters to you right now when you're not distracted by everything else going on around you. I feel that this particular Venus star point is where we're coming back into some of our core soul contracts with ourselves in this lifetime. And maybe that's where you're feeling the energy is quite strong and alive. Now, this full Venus was first initiated 4 years ago in January 2022. That's when we had the previous Venus star point in Capricorn, but she was retrograde. Do you remember that 4 years ago? That's when the initiation of this energy started. And so in the middle degrees of Capricorn in your chart, you want to identify where you have 16 to 18 degrees of Capricorn by house placement. You do not need to have any planet or points there. You're identifying which house this is for you. This is where Venus has been working with you slowly and steadily to reprogram your sense of what you can accomplish, achieve, and create in your life in these Capricorn energies. So 4 years ago is when she was retrograde, conjunct the sun at 18 degrees of Capricorn. That's when a new intention was being seeded in your consciousness around your purpose, your skills, perhaps what you want to do in the world for a career or profession. You might look back over the last 4 years and see how the Capricorn areas of your chart here have slowly grown and changed as you've come into more contact with what you enjoy, what you're good at, what you want to invest your talents and abilities in. That is one of the main themes of Venus in Capricorn. She wants to focus on what feels strong and good for her, what will pay off over time, where she will become more of an expert, a mentor, a guide for others, where her maturity is respected and honored. This is not fast-moving energy by any means. This is an area of your chart you've had to stick with something. You had to stay the course and endure whatever the challenges or hardships might have been. You had to become more disciplined, more focused, more determined. You had to do it for you. There's something that we choose for ourselves at each Venus star point. You're choosing what is true for you, because it beautifully aligns with your own mastery, self-respect, personal integrity, your own dignity. This is where you're living life on your own terms. And it's one thing to say that, right? And then it's another to go out into the world and get the pushback, get the disagreements, get the notes and the feedback and other people's opinions on what they think you should do with your life or on what you think the path should be. But this Venus star point in Capricorn has been helping you develop your internal strength to navigate life on your own terms based on what you love and enjoy. I feel that for those of you who are healers and entrepreneurs, this is where you've been building up a business that perhaps has been very slow going, very uncertain, but at the same time, you know, this is the path. This is the way. This is what I am here to offer and contribute. And you're doing so that others can follow behind you. That's how you are the mentor and the guide, is that you're also paving the way for others to see that it's possible for them to do the same. So these are just some of the themes here of this Venus star point. Again, now it's a full Venus, where 4 years ago it was a new Venus. And maybe you're going to see when you look back over this 4-year span of time, what you have built, decided, and developed through ongoing work and effort that is paying off. So with a full Venus, we step into the next level manifestations where the work you've invested leads you into new territory and shows you what's next on the path that could not have come any sooner. And that's something to honor with Capricorn. Again, you can't rush Capricorn. There is a steadiness here. There's a timing and a pace that has to unfold. And you can only reach that next level because of how far you've come up to this point. Now, with this particular Venus star point, we also have Mars in the mix. Mars is conjunct the Venus star point and brings in a very active energy here that's going to help you assert yourself in moving forward with what you're determining is correct for you. And so whatever you are processing or holding, perhaps privately working on, putting in that time, effort, and attention into something that matters, here comes Mars that's going to help you move it ahead and move it forward with that classic Mars determination and support. So it's interesting because not every Venus star point has a strong Mars. And so when we have Mars in play, we bring in the masculine with the feminine, also with the sun, the solar consciousness and self-awareness of the sun. So we have a beautiful connection here between masculine and feminine energies that are highly supported, perhaps even in the spotlight. It's funny, I'm getting the visual of a dancing couple moving into the spotlight, and I'm seeing him dancing as in ballroom dancing, a very regal, dignified Capricorn classic dance. But that would be the harmony between Venus and Mars, is that there's energies here pairing up, which can work in Capricorn, believe it or not, as long as you identify the roles, as long as everyone's clear on who does what and we're not fighting to be CEO. It's like there has to be something that everyone feels good about or says, yes, this is my area of expertise and this is your area of expertise. So this can be good for anything that you're looking to do with others where it's complementary. It has that synergy and that harmony that it can line up and work together, but it's not competing for anything. So if there are work projects that are coming up for you as the new year begins, you may get the support you need. This could be good for any types of professional alliances, new partnerships, goal-oriented endeavors. This could be that if you're feeling like there's a lot to do, you're able to delegate or hire someone who can take care of certain parts of the project. When we have all three planets here together, again, Sun, Venus, Mars, they are working together towards a similar goal, achievement, or outcome. And that's really important to identify in Capricorn. What are we working towards? What matters right now? What are we investing in that is that next milestone? And we're all on the same page getting things done. So this is where the energies can be really productive when everything is defined and you're on the same page. Now, we also have Mercury traveling behind here in Capricorn. And so Mercury is observing, planning, looking at the structure of what's in place and what's needed. What do we need to bring in? What are the additional resources? What's the timeline? How long is something going to realistically take? So all of this is happening in the Capricorn areas of your chart, bringing a strong focus to what you're creating now that can last for the long term. Now, another thing that's important to note here is that with this Venus star point in Capricorn and all these energies in Capricorn, we look to the ruling planet of Saturn, which is in Pisces conjunct Neptune. And we've been talking about this energy for a very long time, of course. But what happens is that this Saturn in Pisces and Neptune in Pisces understand that there are big endings happening on the planet. There are things that are phasing out and that we're moving away from, and we all feel it. We're all sensing that we're in this significant pivotal time of changes happening, but we don't fully see what the next version is going to be. And that's because we're creating it. Nothing's predetermined. We are actively co-creating it with our collective consciousness. And this Capricorn energy is seeing that, is understanding that, okay, there are many things that are phasing out. You could apply this to business, profession, jobs, right? You can apply this to how the world of work is in a big state of flux, and that what we do for work is changing. I feel that this Venus star point is bringing us back into our love of creativity and creation, and reminding us that we have the power to choose how we spend our time and energy on this planet. And so this could be opening up a new dream that maybe didn't seem plausible before. Maybe there's something coming to life within you and you've just been kind of waiting, and you don't even know what you're waiting for, but you sense, okay, I'm just supposed to hang tight, see where this goes, trust the energies as they arrive and open up, and then you're going to have something click that's that steady, clear yes. This Venus star point could give you that yes. This could show you the pivot point or the turning point that you've been waiting for. And the universe says, now is the time to build this. Now is the time to invest. People are ready. People are excited. There's a lot happening in the world that's needing new visions, new direction that can give people hope, that can give people a sense of possibility around what's to come. So I am bringing in this more positive understanding of the energies right now, because I feel that the strong Capricorn influence can give us the authority to choose wisely, choose with discernment, invest in what can serve many, and that it might be a better time now to move in that direction because of what's ending and dissolving and fading away. So again, this Venus star point is active at 16 degrees of Capricorn in your chart. This is going to be especially strong for those of you who have Earth energy in the middle degrees of Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. You're going to be feeling this Venus star point more personally. It's also going to be stabilizing and strengthening for those of you who have planets or points in the middle degrees of the water signs of Scorpio and Pisces. If you have planets or points in the middle degrees of Cancer, you are feeling that opposition between the planets in Cancer and Capricorn. And the focus is on the Capricorn energies of practicality, long-term effort, strategic planning, and looking at what you need to build something that can last. So this would be a beautiful time to look at how far you've come here in these Capricorn degree points in your chart. Again, 16 to 18 degrees, and to take time to plan what matters next, to invest in what you want to accomplish because it's meaningful for you, it's empowering, it has life to it, and to also powerfully own what you want. There is an ownership energy here, and it stems from Venus saying, I'm worth it. I love this about myself, my abilities, my life. This is what I want in my world and what I want to create from that place of self-love and self-worth. So I hope that this Venus star point gives you that grounded affirmation that you are a master in human form. Capricorn highlights our mastery, and this could be a time when you are really acknowledging not only how far you've come, but what you are now capable of because of your own path you've been on. Now, those of you who are in my 2026 Soul Growth Astrology program, you know that I discuss this Venus star point even more and how it comes up in your chart, and that we have a second Venus star point coming up later this year because we're going to have a Venus retrograde in Scorpio and Libra in October and November. So we have 2 Venus star points this year, and that's because actually they happen every 9 months. But this is the only one that's happening here in the Capricorn area of your chart. And in fact, we won't have another Venus star point in Capricorn for 4 years. Okay, it's a 4-year cycle. Well, it's actually a 4-year and an 8-year cycle, but that's what brings more significance here to these Capricorn areas of your chart. Again, think of it as a full moon. It's a full Venus where she is abundant, inspired, accomplished, determined, and ready to be more successful in this area of your life and in your chart. So, as always, thank you for joining me for this podcast. I will be back every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for a new episode. I'm really enjoying doing these 3 episodes for you every week. It's actually not a lot more work on my end, but it is more streamlined and it's a lot lighter. The energy just feels so much lighter for me. So I'm trusting that and moving with it, and it feels great. So wishing you a beautiful start here to January. And I hope that this Venus star point brings you some very beautiful gifts and developments. And I hope it also reminds you of your mastery, power, and talents in this lifetime. Have a beautiful Venus star point, friends, and I'll see you back here soon.